McCulloch v. Maryland, 1819, is one of the most important cases in American constitutional law. The Supreme Court's decision established the supremacy of the federal government over state governments and confirmed that Congress possesses implied powers beyond those explicitly listed in the Constitution. The case began when Congress chartered the Second Bank of the United States in 1816. 2 years later, Maryland passed a law imposing a heavy tax on banks operating within the state that were not chartered by Maryland itself. James W. McCulloch, the cashier of the Baltimore branch of the National Bank, refused to pay the tax. Maryland then sued him, raising two major constitutional questions. Did Congress have the authority to create a national bank? And could a state tax a federal institution? Chief Justice John Marshall delivered a unanimous decision. The court ruled that although the Constitution does not explicitly grant Congress the power to create a national bank, Congress possesses implied powers under the Necessary and Proper Clause because Congress has the authority to tax, borrow money, regulate commerce, and carry out other constitutional responsibilities. It may use appropriate and legitimate means to accomplish those goals. The court also ruled that Maryland could not tax the national bank. Marshall famously explained that the power to tax involves the power to destroy. Allowing states to tax federal institutions would give them the ability to interfere with or even eliminate legitimate federal operations. As a result, states cannot obstruct constitutional actions taken by the federal government. The impact of McCulloch v. Maryland can still be seen today. The decision established the principle that Congress may use powers that are reasonably related to its constitutional duties. This reasoning has supported the creation of federal agencies, even if those powers are not specifically listed in the Constitution. National programs and other institutions that help the government carry out its responsibilities. The case also reinforced federal supremacy. When federal and state laws conflict in areas where the federal government has constitutional authority, federal law generally prevails. This principle continues to shape disputes involving immigration, environmental regulation, transportation, banking. Although later cases have placed limits on congressional authority, McCulloch remains a cornerstone of constitutional law and other areas of national policy. More than 2 centuries later, it continues to influence how courts interpret federal power and the relationship between the national government and the states. A simple way to understand the case is this: the Constitution gives Congress certain jobs to do, but it does not list every tool Congress may use. McCulloch v. Maryland established that Congress may use reasonable and constitutional means to accomplish those jobs, while states cannot interfere with legitimate federal operations.